Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
the harsh reality of being an artist under JYP Entertainment.
Wow.
The recent news surrounding Vicha, JYP Entertainment's unsettling and controversial ways of how they manage their idols have resurfaced online.
To be fair, in the JYP's defense, I don't think it's unique to JYP. I believe that's the industry standard. It just so happens, you know, KG was under JYP, so we're talking about JYP right now. But I would be very surprised if other labels are also perfect and JYP is like the nastiest label that makes girls starve, so I don't think so.
Despite the K-pop industry getting more progressive, JYP idols still seem to have it hard as ever. Being an idol is definitely not a piece of cake, and the strict rules given by their agencies often make the job even more difficult than it already is. Surviving in the harsh industry is not for everyone, especially since idols join when they are still really young but are considered as adults by everyone around them. Thankfully, now we have protective laws against minor idols, but the situation was very different years ago. Park Ji-yeon, known for the legendary song Adult Ceremony, which is often performed when idols turn 20, knows a lot about what it's like to be so young in such a difficult industry. In an interview from 2012, she revealed that she didn't expect the song to be so racy and suggestive. Adult Ceremony.
What does racy mean?
like the exact definition. I know about
No, what? Because to me, racy, like, is it like what? Racy, racist?
No. Racy means very like provocative.
Oh, okay.
Is undoubtedly the reason why she became so popular, but it's also why she decided to leave the industry shortly after. The song started a string of horrible rumors that took a huge toll on Ji-yeon's mental health and made her not want to live. Since Ji-yeon comes from a strongly religious family, she wanted to keep a pure image and hated the racy concept the company created for her. She left JYP Entertainment in 2003.
Oh wow, that's like 2 decades ago. What? But so interesting. So the company created an image she didn't even want to portray. That's interesting.
Stating that she felt as if the company was restricting the creative direction she wanted to take. This wouldn't be the first nor the last time that JYP got criticized for
That's
pushing
interesting, because sometimes when we see the girls are really girlish, she say, why are they having so childish? And then the opposite of that is, why are they so sexualized?
Yeah,
you know?
that's because like after I asked that, cause I had similar thought in mind. Like whenever we see like those skirts that the barely covering the ass, like almost the cheek showing out. It's like you don't know if the girl is comfortable with that or not, because like the label could just be that's what you're wearing, and that it's kind of fucked up. Because some girls are comfortable wearing that, and that's cool, But I feel like the girl has to be comfortable to wear that. So it's like the fact that we don't know it's the girl's choice, that it's might be a label's choice and not the girl's choice, is fucked up.
The only time we kind of hear it's their choice is when they say, "Oh, that we helped, we picked the outfits."
Yeah. Like,
I feel like that's it. Okay, say like. Go ahead and say
yeah, I think with Blackpink, Blackpink did a lot of their outfits too. So in that case, right? Because to me, it's like the girl has to be comfortable wearing that. If they're uncomfortable and they're wearing like a skirt that's like barely covering anything, then that's just wrong.
Concept on their young idols. In 2015, the company became a hot topic after twice appeared in an advertisement wearing what were considered to be suggestive school uniforms. Not to mention these posters used phrases like trim the skirt, tighten the jacket, or corset jacket. Many netizens saw this ad as very inappropriate for the young girls and students as well, as they argued that they are too young to be portrayed in a suggestive way. It's widely known that good look.
I mean, how are these uniforms suggestive though? Like a regular school.
Is this the photo we're talking about?
I think so. This or this?
That one is suggested.
Why though? These are regular skirts. These are not even the skirts I just talked about like a minute ago.
Well, no, you don't know what traditional like school uniform skirts look like.
I would think it's this.
They don't know. They don't look like this. They're actually quite long. The only time I've ever seen like in those short is the short skirt.
You do those girl
skirts for school. Those I only see that short on TV.
Really?
In real life, they are actually quite long.
I've only seen like.
I've worn these skirts.
Yeah, my school never had uniforms.
They're actually past the knee.
Oh, okay.
They're not this
like
short.
Every school, or maybe your school, was just like every school is like that?
There's a standard uniform look, and they all look the same. Everyone shops at the same store. You just pick your colors. The only time when they're this short is when we see them on TV when it's a gag, but they're never this short.
Okay.
play an immense role in the K-pop industry, and companies often go to extreme lengths to make sure their idols look as attractive as ever. JYP is notoriously known for putting their idols on difficult diets to achieve the desired look. Twice's Momo pre-debut story is widely known among K-pop fans, and although it's been years since
It's kind of wild though. Look,
Twice's Momo
she's walking, people walking right next to her like fans. Like that's so weird.
No, this is probably Sensei's. No, the
Sasangs, yeah,
Sasangs, yeah.
It's just so fucking weird. They're walking like that's so weird. Like there's one thing.
Let's not insult the fans. The fans, they're better than these. At this point, you are Sasangs.
That's just so weird. Like there's one thing, you see, and you sit on a bench wherever you like and film the person,
like,
cool. But to walk right next to her in her face like this with the camera, like that's aggravation. Like if somebody was like that on my camera, I would slap the camera out of my face.
Pre-debut story is widely known among K-pop
that is
fans,
so
and
fucked
although
up.
it's been years since it happened, it's still relevant today. In the past, Momo opened up about going on a really difficult diet where she had to lose 15 pounds. If she didn't manage to lose the weight, the company would not let her debut. She used extreme measures to lose those pounds, only eating ice cubes for the whole week. On top of not eating anything at all, she would go to the gym all the time and spit so there was no water in her body. When she would lie down at night and try to sleep, she would break down due to her fear of not waking up in the morning. Even though she starved herself, she wasn't able to lose those 15 pounds by the set date, so the company starved her for 3 more days.
I mean, to be fair, 15 pounds in how long she had? A week? No, what did it say? 15?
It was like in a week.
15 pounds for the do no matter what. In 1 week, yeah. 15 pounds in 1 week, it's a little bit mathematically impossible for a girl like that. 1 pound is 3,500 calories. So that's basically 15 pounds is what? About 50,000 calories, 52,000, something like that, 5250. 52,000 calories in a week. She would have to burn like a fucking 8,000 calories a day, to lose and not eat nothing and burn that. Okay, minus water weight, she would shed some water, let's say, 5 pounds of water if she like dehydrates. So still that for a girl this size. But still not enough
to say for in a week you get the transformation of what 15 pounds look like if you did it the healthy way.
Mathematically, even if you did it unhealthy, mathematically for a girl like that is impossible. She would just simply pass out and go to the hospital because.
But she won't look like good.
It doesn't. She won't. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Like it's mathematically impossible. If they gave her a month to do 15 pounds, that's different. We can strict diet.
You know what I think it is? I feel like they say the extreme so that you could at least lose something to put that pressure.
Yeah, but look, she lost something. She didn't make the goal. Then they made her starve extra to like get the goal. So it's like. No, it's just like as I said, mathematically impossible. Like for a girl, this like if she was a man of like 400 pounds, that's doable. That's not in a week 15 pounds. Yeah, just put on a strict diet, work out. That's doable. For a girl, that's like what she's like 120 soaking wet, 110. No fucking way.
She wasn't able to lose those 15 pounds by the set date, so the company starved her for 3 more days. Thankfully, Momo managed to gain those 15 pounds right back and indulged in all of her favorite foods right after the showcase.
Well, what's the fucking point if she gained everything back?
I guess for the showcase, they wanted her thin.
Common for idols to go on diets shortly before their comebacks or debuts, it's quite different at JYP. ITZY once confessed they all had to diet for a whole year when they were trainees. The girls dealt with it their own way though. They would diet throughout the day and then have a feast of fried chicken and watermelon at night. But the situation is more heartbreaking and concerning than it might seem at first glance. Stray Kids Felix once expressed his need to go on a diet before one of their shows, saying he needed to diet until he would see his own bones. This obviously worried the group's fans immensely, even though
we talked about this on our Discord about Stray Kids and dieting, how you guys didn't want us addressing it, and oftentimes also what sometimes these guys, girls maybe too, want to do that too. Doesn't mean the label is forcing them, because for Felix, he's a model, so he has to look a certain. He wants to look a certain way too. So it doesn't mean the label is forcing. Maybe the label is, I don't know, but doesn't always have to be the label's fault though. It's sometimes the person is just wants to look a certain way too.
Felix clarified that the part about his bones was a joke. ITZY Chaeryeong once talked about wanting a pill that would make her full and her appetite gone. While diets are hugely normalized in the K-pop industry, many netizens fear that JYP is taking things way too far. When former Stray Kids member Kim Wojin was still with the company, he had to endure a long string of restrictive diets. For weeks, he wasn't allowed to eat anything else than just one protein bar every day, and once a week, he was allowed to eat something more filling and delicious. A former psychiatrist at
Yeah, it seems like Asia, maybe Korea, the whole Asia, we talk about Korea. Korea is just very backwards with dieting. Like, I don't, like, who thinks,
hire professionals.
I don't understand, like, who thinks it's okay to eat one protein bar and, there is way, like, dieting is not wrong. Dieting is actually very common in any industry that, you have to perform. Like, that's just part of the game, like in sports, modeling, movies, maybe music not so much, but this is kind of like dancing.
You know what's interesting? There's a group Super Junior. They have one member that's a little bit bigger than the others.
Yeah, Shindong, I think his name is.
Yeah, so how is he able to get away with this?
He likes food, it's okay.
Yeah, but how does he get away with this?
Well, to be fair, I think it's double standard. The guys don't have to be like that. And also, he's already established. When you're younger, I think he also struggled too. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, dieting. So dieting is it's normal. It's like, wherever you need to perform, either perform or look a certain way. Dieting is part of the game. However, there's normal dieting and there's this bullshit, whatever the fuck we're seeing here, that they eat one protein bar a day. Like, come on. Like, put it on this restrictive calorie diet, because they dance a lot already. They burn a lot of calories.
JYP had also
Yo, JYP, if you're watching this, hire me. I'll set you up with the diets.
discussed the effects these extreme diets have on female or male idols. She highlighted the immense stress these idols face over dieting and staying fit, and that numerous idols had developed eating disorders because of these restrictions. One of these idols is IU, who admitted she suffered from eating disorders in the past. She linked her illness to the malicious comments targeted at her and the pressure she had to handle over dieting. IU confessed she would eat until she would vomit because she felt empty inside. While IU thankfully managed to win over her illness, these companies need to install huge changes to prevent these instances from happening again. A former JYP trainee had also opened up about the disturbing practices they used to keep her underweight. In 2021, the former trainee Kimberly Chen revealed that the company wanted to control her weight before she hit puberty and began to store fats naturally. Kimberly was told she must keep her weight at around 38 kilograms, which is quite impossible for a growing teen without any...
That's like 90 pounds ish. So 85, 90 pounds. That's still like, what the fuck? Like, that is ridiculous.
Any medical help. So the company supplied her with slimming pills, and Kimberly had to take 5 at a time, even though the recommended dosage was 1 pill per consumption. The pills had a negative effect on her health, and Kimberly recalled her heart beating super fast, feeling dizzy.
Hold on, let me get the weight right. 38 kilograms, pounds, real quick. Just want to be sure what we're talking about here. 76 pounds.
She's 70.
76 pounds.
She's 76 pounds? No, that's not true. No, that's not accurate.
Guys, to put it in perspective, when I do shoulder press, I do more than 76 pounds on one hand.
Oh, you're so lame.
No, I'm just saying, that's ridiculous.
Lame.
Why? That's ridiculous.
She's 76 pounds.
Not even 100, like 100 pounds.
She's where did they get this number from? That's not possible. That's not possible.
76 pounds.
That's not possible. How tall is she?
What's her name?
That's not possible.
What was her name? Chen?
That's not possible.
Kimberly Chen. Let me see.
That's not possible. That's not possible for someone to be. That's like
that doesn't make sense.
That's a kid. That's a.
Like, I would think like a 10-year-old that weighed that much.
She's not 76 pounds. That's crazy.
Maybe she's like tiny. Okay, she's 4'11" though.
4'11".
Okay, 4'11" is really short though. Okay. I mean, 4'11". Okay, I mean it's still very little, but
90.
Yeah, like maybe 90. Like, okay, maybe. It's not. I thought she was like 5'4", 5'5". That way was no. 4'11". That's kind of. Yeah. Yeah, 4'11" is short.
I'm not shocked with the height. I'm shocked with the weight. Okay.
Yeah, but if she's so short.
I've never heard of anyone this weight.
I never heard of it either, but I mean, her regular weight, it says here 94 pounds. It's still tiny.
That's believable.
Huh.
I don't know, maybe they got the information incorrect.
It's fucking 76 pounds.
For up to 30 minutes and not even being able to stand properly for that time. Overworking their idols, restricting their food intake, and not being considerate towards their injuries are three of the biggest things JYP has been criticized for. In 2022, many Stray Kids fans voiced their concerns over how busy the group was despite not having enough time to rest. After their Maniac tour in the States, the group only had a couple of days before they flew to hold more concerts in Japan before they were back in South Korea to participate in the ISAC Games. Stray Kids members worked tirelessly and without complaints.
I don't know though, when we see Stray Kids in this, I'm kind of a little skeptical because they're kind of very hard workers themselves though. Like
I feel like they choose to do this partly on themselves.
Right, yeah. From what we've seen about them, they're really workaholics. You know, especially Bang Chan, he's like really, that's like his passion. So when they bring Stray Kids up, I don't know if I want to sit here blame JYP for it. Especially considering they already renewed their contract without like no hassle, no nothing. They were very quickly to do so, very happy. I don't know if Stray Kids is a good example to put like down JYP. I think whatever Stray Kids are doing, they're kind of at a point where it is their choice to do so.
Through their busy schedules, even though some of the members bore visible signs of injuries, with Lino showing signs of exhaustion at the beginning of the tour. Hyunjin performed despite having a cast on his arm, and many other members were seen with pain relief tapes on different parts of their bodies. So when Stray Kids was announced to participate in the ISAC Games, many of their fans were reminded of the Levanter era when the boys slept throughout the games broadcast because they were so exhausted during promotions. It's known that idols suffer physical and psychological consequences of their...
Looks like Olympics game for like K-pop stars or something.
I think they also wanted to do this because it looks fun.
Yeah, and also no, people are competitive. Like guys, you gotta understand. Like athletes too, they play through injuries all the time because they're just competitive. Like it's not always the label's fault, and I'm not defending JYP because what happened with KG is obviously.
Every time you first you're a hype defender, now you're JYP defender.
No, I can see I can see that. Yes, the label is not perfect, but at the same time, sometimes people push themselves to the limit themselves too. It's not always the label. Like, when we talk about trainees, yeah, it's probably the label. But when we talk like about established stars, it might be themselves that wanted to do that too.
They're highly demanding jobs across all K-pop agencies, but JYP had a suspiciously high number of idols being put on hiatus due to their deteriorating mental health. In 2019, Stray Kids Han didn't participate in a couple of the group's events due to his anxiety disorder, and even had to leave one early because of his anxiety. In their statement, the company shared that Han experienced extreme tension when being close to crowds of people. At that time, the symptoms of his anxiety were variable, so Han only appeared at selected scheduled events depending on how he was feeling that day. ITZY's Leah was also on a hiatus for 10 whole months because she suffered from anxiety and extreme tension. She only returned in July of this year after being put on a break in September of 2023. It's worth noting that when Ryujin and Leah were asked if...
Yeah, but I don't know if that's like a dig at JYP. If they suffer from anxiety and JYP allows them to take a break, then it's not like... I don't know. Like if, Han, her suffering anxiety being around people, that's just like a personal problem that you're dealing with. It has nothing to do with the label. If you are anxious to be around people, that's what it is. It's, some people are anxious to be around, like very introverted people. They get anxiety being around people, talking to a stranger. So it has nothing to do with label really. And if anything, that the fact that label allows them to work on that and doesn't force them to, go, that reflects positively on the label.
They had the option to attend therapy sessions provided by the company. The girls didn't have an answer, and the next year, Leah would go...
Right, if they provide therapy, the company pays for the therapy. That's pretty good.
On a hiatus due to her anxiety. Twice as Mina didn't participate in the group's world tour in 2019 because she struggled with extreme anxiety and insecurity towards performing. In October of 2020...
I see this so normal because I can imagine, people don't like to hear themselves after they talked. Like, imagine how you hate hearing your voice after you hear a recording. You can have the most beautiful voice, but listening to your playback or seeing your playback, you're your hardest critic, So I can imagine they're tough on themselves. So I can imagine how much they have to prepare when they have to view themselves and then do all these adjustments.
It was Jonghyun who had to step back from the group's schedule to focus on her mental health as she struggled with anxiety as well. Even though she rejoined the group in January of 2021, Jonghyun would go on yet another break in August of the same year because of her psychological anxiety and panic disorders. While everything these idols went through is terrible enough, it only seems to get worse. On December 9th of 2024, KG from the group Visha announced her departure from the group and the agency through her Instagram story.
Yeah, I don't know, these anxiety, like the 2 minutes she went on anxiety, I don't exactly think it supports that, oh, JYP is a bad label. I think everybody deals with anxiety. Has nothing to do with music, has nothing to do with JYP, has nothing to do with K-pop. You know, a lot of people like deal with anxiety. Like, you know, it's just a common thing to deal with. It has nothing to do with JYP. It's just, you know, just what it is.
This news was a huge shock to netizens as Visha has been on a hiatus for months, and their fans were patiently hoping for their comeback in 2025. Instead, they learned that KG was severely mistreated by the company's staff and had even filed a lawsuit against. KG claimed that the working environment was so horrible that it drove a member of the group to attempt to take her own life, as well as caused another member to harm themselves. KG also mentioned that the environment at the company encourages eating disorders and puts extreme limitations on their personal lives. On her Instagram story, KG expressed her worries for the other girls who were still with the company, and that if she didn't make the decision to leave in May, she would never become the artist she aspires to be. KG also accuses the company of not paying her no way enough for the hard work she had done, adding that she is currently facing a massive amount of company debt. KG spoke kindly about JY Park himself and the company executives, claiming that it's not their fault directly, but it's rather an issue that is deeply rooted in the K-pop industry. JYP USA shared their own version of the story, claiming that KG included false and exaggerated claims in her statement. The label also added that KG left the group's residence in May, and their attempts to resolve the situation with KG's representatives were to no avail. To say that this news caused a divide between netizens is an understatement. Most of them pondered about the differences in how Eastern and Western trainees handle the same conditions of the K-pop industry. While some of them support KG's decision and argue that her actions are justified, adding she has a reason to defend herself from harm, others believe that limited sleep, weight restrictions, and intense surveillance are aspects of the profession. Because of this, many netizens wondered if
I mean, as long as you're aware of those things.
I mean, right. The surveillance thing, it was said, and you know, previously we saw there was labels, like stickers on the fridge everywhere that, oh, you're being surveilled. Legally, if the sticker is there, you can get recorded. So technically, you know, you knew, you signed up for it, right? So that part I'm not mad about. Extreme dieting, we already addressed. There needs to be change. Koreans seem to not know how to diet, right? What else was brought up? Hold up.
The same conditions of the K-pop industry. While some of them support KG's decision and argue that her actions are justified, adding she has a reason to defend herself from harm, support the group's residence in May, and their attempts to resolve the situation with KG's representatives were to no avail. To say that this news caused a divide between netizens is an understatement. Most of them pondered about the differences in how Eastern and Western trainees handle the same conditions of the K-pop industry. While
what did she say?
Some of them support KG's decision and argue that her actions are justified, adding she has a reason to defend herself from harm. Others believe that limited sleep, weight restrictions, and intense surveillance are
limited sleep. Limited sleep does come with the game, though, too. If you want to achieve something, a lot of successful people have slept 3-4 hours.
But don't they have like a schedule?
They do.
So in the schedule, it doesn't account for sleep? Because what I think is that she was overworked and she had to catch up, and because she couldn't complete her work on time, she couldn't sleep on time.
The problem is she's underage, right? I think that there's a lot of... I guess the problem is all of these things that they're describing should be a choice, right? What sounds like she didn't have a choice, she was kind of forced upon that environment, right? I think that's where the problem lies. If she did have a choice, and she chose that, I don't have a problem with that, because that's kind of what it takes sometimes. But if she didn't want to do it and she was forced to, that's why we have a lawsuit.
I think there's a laws for how much the child should have sleep.
They definitely broke the laws. Yeah, they definitely did. Yeah, she was underpaid based on the laws. She was overworked based on the laws. Yeah, they definitely broke the law. And she was underage, so a lot of that, even like I'm talking right now, choice, she couldn't even make that choice. The parents would have to make that choice for her, right? So, honestly, where the parents were at, I don't know. She didn't tell them what was going on. That's kind of interesting. But So like I see what the other side of the K netizens are saying. Oh, you know, that's just part of the industry. I get it, but it doesn't make it right either, though. Like, especially because she's underage. And you know, as I said earlier, like the dieting part, they really need to work on their understanding of how diets work.
Aspects of the profession. Because of this, many netizens wondered if creating Western-based K-pop groups was a good idea at all. Some netizens even describe this as a cultural clash where Korean culture tends to value collective responsibility, while Western culture focuses more on individual rights. Looking back, we can see that Korean...
I honestly think it is a good move because it's kind of going to open the K-pop industry to the West and see how fucked up it is, and hopefully it's going to cause change. Because people from the West are going to be like, oh, okay, this is not right. Hopefully that, you know, going to cause the K-pop industry to modernize a little bit their mentality.
Trainees accepted these conditions without objections, but a reform that would protect trainees and idols from suffering these consequences is still very much needed.
That's very interesting. We're going to keep following this because we're going to get more developments coming up soon. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord, and as always, share as much kindness as possible.